What's up, guys? Another day, another night. Today, I feel very encouraged and compelling to talk about something very serious, but at the same time, very important as humans and especially as men. Now these days, that the way of modern living makes it a little bit complicated to express your male energy in every perspective, in every angle in life. So, what is the greatest evil of all time? What is the greatest evil of all time? It's not what we're thinking. It's not Satan. Definitely, it's not the devil. So, it is thinking less about ourselves, thinking less and feeling less about yourself. Uh, In other words, feel inferior to everybody else. And that has absolutely zero chances to succeed in any fear, in any field, or any endeavor that we choose to choose in our lives, right? So, one of my mottos is increase your awareness. Hi, hello, thank you guys. Increase your awareness, sharpen your mind, because your observations, it's your salvation, right? And I always mention in all my videos, in all my presentations and conversations with people too, that observations, your own observation of things, it's more truthful than anything that have been told you. Okay? And going back to what I said, the greatest evil of all time, thinking less about yourself. Right? That actually puts you in a position where there's absolutely zero leverage in anything you want to achieve or do in life. Anything. Okay. How you doing, Margarita? And so, what is it? What is really this greatest and this great evil, right? What is it? How does it and how do people let it creep into their lives? How do you let this evil creep into your mind and take over of your body and soul and any vital organ that you have, right? It's very important. So, failure, when we don't succeed in something, right? When we lose, when we fail a task, a game, lose something, a job, a relationship, we think that we are in disadvantage with life, right? And we take it as a loss. And sometimes because there were feelings involved, investment of your life, careers, sports. And this is why I always preach that people give too much credit to the devil, Satan, and it's not really that. It's not really that that stops us and freezes people up to the point that they're blind in what will be the next step to get out of that self pity situation. Mm, yeah. So, why am I saying this? I worked in the last year, I worked in a few warehouses in a few places that I met a lot of young people, very young people, 18, 24. And there's something that bothered me because I have sons, the oldest is 17. And one thing I noticed that literally exudes nothing but negative, exudes failure, exudes horrible, horrible things in somebody is when you feel sorry about yourself. Whatever it is that you went through, whatever it is that you have, is something that you guys cannot let it creep into your mind. But okay, I'm talking too much about this evil, but how can we take this evil away, right? Is prayer going to take it away? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Prayer is not going to take it away. Get it, getting angry at the situation, it can be a starting point to get angry and say, you know what, this is not right. That can be just a starting point because you cannot be angry all your life because that's not going to solve anything. All right. Are you a patriot? Yes, I am, guys. Yes, I am. Hmm? So people say, okay, Alex, I remember this guy named Ricky. Say, okay, Alex, how can I improve my confidence, right? Well, feeling less about yourself, people want to say, okay, so now I have to feel better about somebody else. Now I'm going to be walking like I'm better than everybody else. No, not really. So automatically, you need to understand that if you don't feel less than nobody, it either puts you up. You don't need to walk like you're better than somebody because that exudes the contrary. That literally exudes like insecurities, right? That literally is like just fake confidence. I've met people that are very arrogant and cocky for some reason, and sometimes down deep there's literally a wound that hasn't been healed, right? And I'm not promoting to be humble because I don't believe in humbleness either. I don't think nothing good comes from being humble. And at the end of the day, how to get out of this state of mind? First of all, you need to understand that everybody you encounter has been hurt in their lives. Okay, just because they don't talk about it doesn't mean that it hasn't been real in their lives. Right? One of the first things that is gonna heal you and is gonna take you of that self pity, that sorriness that you have for yourself is stop talking about the pain. Stop talking. This is why I don't believe in therapy. How you doing? I don't believe in therapy because first of all, if it's gonna be just one time talk, I do believe is successful. I do believe it's very uh, absolutely powerful if you're gonna speak about something and then you cannot talk about it anymore. Because guys, when you talk about something all the time, that means that you still have it. Okay. If I talk about me, okay, I'm not a drug user no more. I don't have my heart broken no more. I'm not poor no more, blah, blah, blah. You keep talking and repeat it. You're just enhancing it, right? So the first thing you do is you talk yourself out of it and say, You know what? People like me exist. The way to recovery, the way to confidence is to stop talking about my pain. Okay? Stop talking about your pain. Take it as something normal. Take it as something normal. And once you know that you're not the only one who has been hurt, that improves your confidence, your ability to keep going in life. It's something crazy though. It's something crazy. I don't know why. It's kind of like it's not related to this like misery wants companionship, but it's a very wrong example. But sometimes you think if you're homeless, you're poor, you have a bad relationship, and they left you, they cast you out, you have no job, no career, no love, no family. We think that we're the only ones going through that, right? And knowing that even the most successful people, and I mean it because I met when I was incarcerated, I met people who were successful and just hit rock bottom. But for some reason, they came back. And my question was like, how do you come back for something very awful, like incarceration, like going to war, like losing a family member? How do you come back from that? You know? And it's crazy that a lot of times we agree. It's like you will talk about it, but there's gonna be a time that you need to stop talking about it. You have to like stop talking about it, and actually, you can program yourself to forget it completely, erase it from your mind, right? By not talking about it. Whatever you talk about all the time, it just keeps growing. It keeps growing, right? Okay. If you really want to talk about something, then switch the tables. Talk about how much you're winning in life. That's gonna be multiplying, right? So we use the same law, but but onto the other polarity, right? Instead of being on this side, now we're on the other side. But then eventually, you don't want to talk about I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. Then, like I mentioned it before, you found the central ground, the center, neutral ground, neither negative, neither positive. It's neutral. You tend to feel both sides, and this is how you start understanding people, and this is how you let people grow, right? Sometimes we want to help people because we've been there, but sometimes because we're on the other opposite of the stick, we want to help people, but we don't acknowledge that we interfering with their growth. Okay, we are interfering with their growth, and you have to allow people go through their pain. It's not because you're an asshole. It's not because you're just a vicious person that you're just gonna let people down. No, because you need to understand that we all have a vehicle, we all have a mind, and sometimes we have to be let alone. Because growth, it's individual. It's not a team effort. It's only by individuals. Okay, you heal individually. All right, then you can share to the crowds how you healed and how you feel now. But the healing, it's individually. You know, that's why I think a lot of therapy sessions they're not successful, and people keep going back to their old habits in life because they keep talking about it. They just keep talking about it. They keep talking about it. I was incarcerated and I lost this and I lost my family and I'm homeless and I was homeless, and you just keep making it bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, accept it. It happened, and if it happens again, you're prepared how to handle it. Okay, you get to know that it's a state of mind. It's an experience, and instead of going to the opposites of the stick, try to go to the middle. Try to observe both sides, the negative and the positive. They cannot exist without each other. I always talk about that. I'm not the only one. There's people who do. There's books who teach about this. Yeah. So I really love, man. It's kind of like my food. When I talk to people, they're 18, 19 years old, 20. and I see them, and sometimes I feel kind of like the father that these kids have, but for some reason they don't know how to approach their kids, their family. Because I understand they're involved in businesses and their jobs, they have other kids, whatever, you know. But I just love it. I just love, I keep it precise and simple, and it works. Okay. It works. Mm. And yes, I don't believe in therapy. This might cause a lot of people a little bit upset. I don't believe. I need probably 1,000 hands. I can count how many people, more than 1,000 people that I met through all my life that were in therapy. None of them, not even none of them, felt genuine, in my opinion. It didn't. It didn't. And that bothered me, and it made me feel some type of way like, what is this? Is this kind of like a business? You know, this is just like a little reunion where people share their pains, but there's no growth. They act like they're growing, but they still just like going back and forth, back and forth. Like I don't like that. I don't like that. And when I was released right from incarceration, you have to go through this little bogus 2 weeks uh, therapy, like mandatory by the courts, a week, right? And it's voluntary if you want to go and share your testimony, right? And people were like, Alex, are you gonna go? I'm not gonna go. I'm here. Thank you. I'm ready to go work and work out and make some money and have some chicks on my side, right? So I prepare myself all these years inside. Okay. I didn't have to tell people the sad stories. Stop sharing the sad stories. This need to stop. Mm. This need to stop. There's a point that you even stop sharing the good stories, right? Why? Because you need to understand that people are at different levels, different stages of their lives. And sometimes your story, it doesn't matter at that time. Because at the end of the day, it was your story, your experience. And if somebody needs it, you will know because you will feel comfortable to share because it's something like some magic happening at the moment that you feel that you need to share some of your experiences because I don't know, the gods, your mind, your inner soul, your vibration with him is compatible. And it's like literally telling you, share it. You're literally going to save a person's life today, right? Who knows? I'm just putting an analogy, an illustration, like how you feel when you need to share a story. But yeah, guys, we need to stop sharing sad stories. It only makes it worse. It doesn't make it better. Believe me, and if you don't believe it, go try it. Sharing sad stories doesn't bring joy. It literally adds more sadness. Doesn't provide questions or answers to how to come out of that self pity state. Okay, it doesn't. It doesn't. And at the end of the day, the main goal is to have a winner mentality and stop being a victim of circumstances that we all have created on ourselves. Okay, by having self pity, by thinking we're just less. We were born with nothing. That's why we're nothing. Absolutely not true. Mm. I can tell you why automatically with this. Now, I'm not a scientist. As a man, you are born a creator. How? I have millions of sperms, okay, that my male organ produces a day. I have so much sperm, and not only me, any man, to populate a whole world or more. Let me jump to the female. A female comes with specific eggs so she can get pregnant and create life too. Okay, complementary with the male. Okay, so you don't come in this life empty. This is my whole message, my whole desire for people to grasp in their mind that sometimes because our parents, our families didn't provide the psychological preparation for us to deal with the world, we think we came with nothing. Oh, I came with nothing, man. Everybody has something except me. No, you came already with everything. Okay. You use, we used to say that I hear men saying that men are born with no value. And I like these people. I'm not going to go through the names because I don't like that. I don't open my YouTube channel to just start mentioning names to start getting clout or something. I don't do that. But there are certain men that are spreading the message that men are born with no value. Oh man, I disagree. I just disagree so much. I disagree. I don't know. It might be my genuine arrogance, but I disagree. I think men, me myself, we are born automatically. If you're a man, I'm already born with so much value. Okay, all I have to do is use it. Mhm. All I have to do is use it. Do you used to serve in the army? I didn't. I didn't. You know, but I'm proud that I was born in Chicago, raised in Chicago, born and raised. Right? And and God bless all the 50 states, right? And anybody who believes in the better good of this planet and the country too, both. Because America believes not only in America, but in protecting the planet, from the vultures, whoever they are, even if they're from this country too. We have to protect it at all costs, right? So I believe in life, right? And yeah, guys. So yeah, I I don't believe that men are born with no value. I disagree, 100%. And I don't know if I'm going to change my mind soon because I think I won't. I don't agree. I think men are born with everything they need. All we have to do is use it. And this is where we as parents or brothers and friends, we're going to teach ourselves. We're going to relearn how to think. We're going to relearn how to think because we be learning from liars, from fakers, right? You have to make money, have houses, have bitches left and right, and then you have value. Nope, not really, not really, not really. Why am I saying this? I myself, I didn't serve in the military. I have family, close family that serve in the military. And one thing they told me when it's war, when it's time for war, there's no time to think, how are you going to talk to women? There's no time. How am I going to create this business? There's only one thing. You need to protect your nation. You need to protect yourself. You need to protect your partners. Okay. And we're going to fight for the better good. And even though I was never part of that, I educate myself that we can train our brains and our physical bodies to know that everything you need is already with you. But because we don't know how to use it, that's the catch. That's the trick. That's the trick. This is why it's more easy to follow a religion or to follow any master or guru, right? And I even tell my brothers, there's a time for a mentor. There's time for mentorship. But there's going to be a time that you have to make a decision that you need to leave and you have to be on your own. All right. There's a time for student and teachers. They meet each other. And there's a time that the student, not the teacher, the student needs to make that decision that I need to make my own path. You cannot depend on each other all the time. This path is an individually path, but along the way, you meet people and you sit down and you share stories. And this is the greatness of having an individual life because you grow on your own. Okay. You grow on your own. Your losses are your losses. Your wins are your wins. Not mine. Not mine. If I tell you this apple, it's very sweet. No matter how much I explain it, no matter how much I talk about it, you will never learn until I pass you an apple. Here, and then you will eat it, and then you can look at me. Oh, this is what you're talking about. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Mm. I cannot sleep for you. I cannot eat for you. Mm. I have my own body. I'm responsible for my own body. You're responsible for your own body. Mm. So, yes, confidence is the result of not feeling less than nobody. If there's such thing of a pony trick, if you want to mention it like that, right? Confidence is the result of not feeling less than nobody. And that means if you don't have a dollar or a penny in your pocket, it doesn't mean you are born with value. Okay. If you want to make money, have businesses, that just adds value to your value. It's very different, guys. Very different than saying I was born with nothing and I have to build everything from scratch. Absolutely not. If you're referring to a building, of course, you have to build it from scratch, from the ground. But for yourself, you're already born with everything. You just have to use it. You have to use it. Use it. Hmm? Have you heard it before? Use it or you lose it? Hmm? I don't believe, I disagree that men only have value if they have money. I disagree. Because you guys have read history, and I know a lot of history has been rewritten. We cannot rely everything on history. But there's a time where banks, people who created this currency, can just shut down your account, freeze your account for no reason. There's no stores open. Okay. And we can go back to what, 5, 6 years ago with the COVID-19, the lockdown, people going crazy. You couldn't even buy anything because you couldn't go outside. Okay. This is why people were divorcing, were going crazy. But there was a few people who were getting creative. Okay. Who say, you know what? No, no. Okay. There's no money. There's nothing going on, but I have myself. Okay. I have myself. But then after the COVID-19, after the release, the lockdown, now everybody goes to normal and they forget this. And this is we have to go back every day, introspection every day. I am the value. Okay. Anything that I achieve on top of me, it just adds value. Okay. This explains why how many people have been in bankruptcy. Our president did 4 or 5 times. Huh? Not only him, I know people personally who had hit rock bottom very hard, came up again. Hmm? Why? Because they never felt self pity. They never felt sorry about themselves. They knew who they were, and they knew and they know that the worth and the value of a man, of a person, is not of possessions or material gains. That is just the result of the value that you have for yourself. It's not the other way around. You have to get the money, you have to get the power, you have to get the woman. Now you have value. No, you have value to the fake people, to these corporations that one day they're going to go down. Mhm. And only the real ones are going to prevent and are going to prevail. Mhm. That's how it is. Mhm. The real ones are going to stay. Okay. Any real person, the only thing he has is his hygiene and conversation. Okay. He feels comfortable with himself even though there's no currency, no money, because he knows that currency are his senses, his mind, his body. Mm. I share with this with my oldest son when I have a chance, because he doesn't live with me. But I tell him, it's good thing that you want to go to college, go for it. It's great thing that you want to achieve great things, go for it. But don't lie, don't make a fool of yourself thinking that it's only when you achieve those things you're gonna have value. No, you're gonna have value for the fake people. You don't want their agreement, okay? You don't want their opinion. It shouldn't matter to you, okay? Because there's gonna be in time in life that you're gonna hit rock bottom, and then what? Hmm? I have no value. You are the value. You've been the value all this time. Anything that you achieve after that, it just adds to you. Hmm? It's very different. Very different. Hmm? Very different. I don't believe in low self esteem, nothing good. I don't believe in being humble. Mhm. Jesus Christ was humble. He can be humble. Look what happened. If that really happened, mhm, it was all fake. It was fake stage crucifixion. It was all made up by people to start a religion. It's not even real. Mhm. It's not. Anytime somebody tells you be humble, remember this saying: nothing can be achieved by being humble. Nothing. What is humbleness? Humbleness to feel inferior and to feel less and think less about yourself. You're not. You're not. You're not. They should even take that word from the dictionary, actually. Humble. Very bad word. Poison. It poisons everybody. It poisons the whole world. And it poisons young kids. Should be taken out of the dictionary. Humble. Hmm? That's why they use it on the religion every Sunday, hmm? Every Bible study. Be humble. Be humble. Nope. Fake. Hmm? They will walk through you. Hmm? Being humble doesn't encourage respect. It doesn't come nothing good from it. Nothing. Hmm? Self worth. Self worth earns respect, hmm? Not humbleness. Hmm? To feel less, about your neighbor, to feel less about your coworker, your manager, any leader in your community. The only thing it's doing you is sinking you more and more and more and more until you realize that self worth has nothing to do with humbleness. Self pity is poison. Victim mentality only attracts strategy and negativity. Am I encouraging you to be arrogant? Not all the time. I heard it from a writer, actually. He said, through all my years, I learned that I cannot be humble with the arrogant, but I have to be arrogant with the arrogant, and I have to be humble with the humble. But it's kind of like a personality trait that you can come back and forth, right? Just to engage at the time being, right? It's not really a big thing. It's just kind of like to a social skill in a circle. You're not gonna be cocky with poor people. You're not gonna insult them, right? But when rich people, you're not gonna be under them either, because that's not authority, right? You lose your authority with that. So yeah, I dedicated this night to talk about the great evil of all time is to feel and think less about yourself, regardless about our leaders, teachers, religion leaders are teaching us that to be humble and to feel less about yourself because you have to deny your flesh and bones is absolutely pathetic, right? And it's preparing you for permanent failure without coming back up, right? And I'm gonna wrap it up with practice your observation. Whatever you see, it's your truth, okay? Whatever you see, it's the real truth. Don't let nobody deceive you. Don't let nobody tell you a story otherwise. Okay? Influence, it's more powerful than bullets and nuclear power. I'm going to repeat it again. Influence is more powerful than bullets and nuclear power because it doesn't take violence to change people's minds. People are trained and have so much professional and psychological strategies to change people's minds for their own purpose and their own agendas, guys. You need to be careful, okay? Don't change your mind so quickly. Don't change your mind so quickly, even though you're enjoying it, okay? Keep your own vision, keep your own opinions to yourself, okay? Until they prove you wrong, let them go without resentfulness, without angriness, without bitterness. If your truth is not giving you leverage no more, let them go. Let them go and listen back to yourself. What's the next truth in my new chapter? Okay? Truths is not that they change. You move up. And the truth that was on step three can now move to step four. Okay? That truth, it's there for the next person who needs to step up on number three. Okay? And every ladder that you go up, there's going to be a different truth for you. Don't hold on to the truth from the last step. That truth is for the next person coming up. God bless you guys. Good night.